all. We're talking Bitcoin, Ethereum, Picoin, the whole crypto kingdom. And we're taking a cue from this fintech YouTuber, Uncle G.
Right. His video, The King of Crypto Showdown.
Exactly. He breaks it all down, you know? And I've got to say, when he started comparing Bitcoin to digital gold, that got my attention. What about you?
It's a comparison you hear a lot and it makes sense.
Yeah.
Think about it. Traditional currencies, they can be all over the place.
Oh, yeah. Influenced by governments, inflation.
Exactly. But Bitcoin, limited supply. Just like gold.
Like there's only so much to go around.
Right. Only 21 million Bitcoins ever.
So that built-in scarcity, that's got to be where some of its value comes from.
It's a big factor. When people see something is scarce, they think it's more valuable.
Yeah.
Especially during uncertain economic times.
Makes sense. It's like if you had a rare baseball card or something.
Precisely. People are drawn to assets they perceive as scarce, especially in times of economic uncertainty. It feels like a safer bet than something with an unlimited supply.
Which explains why Uncle G was saying some people turn to Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation.
Exactly. If you're worried that, traditional currencies might lose their value, Bitcoin starts to look pretty good, like a digital store of value.
Instead of stuffing cash under the mattress.
Kind of like how gold has been viewed throughout history.
Although gold doesn't have quite the same reputation for wild price swings, does it?
Either true.
I mean, Uncle G was really acting it out in his video, all those ups and downs. One day you're up 20%, the next you're down 30%.
Yeah, that's the double-edged sword of Bitcoin. It's decentralized, right?
Not controlled by any government or bank, yeah.
Which makes it resistant to the usual market manipulation, sure. But it also makes it vulnerable to these huge swings.
Based on what? Speculation? News headlines?
All of that. Even tweets from certain influential people can move the market.
So, maybe not for those who stress easily.
Or anyone who needs their money to be stable from one day to the next.
Right. And speaking of things that might make you a little uneasy, Uncle G mentioned the energy consumption of Bitcoin mining. That whole process.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound very environmentally friendly.
Yeah, that's a valid concern.
Yeah.
And a major point of contention within the crypto community itself.
So what's the deal with that?
Well, Bitcoin relies on this complex process called proof of work. It takes a ton of computing power to make it all work.
And computing power equals energy.
Exactly. So there's a growing movement towards more sustainable alternatives, especially as people become more aware of the environmental impact.
Makes sense. So Bitcoin, it's got scarcity on its side, but it's got those volatility and environmental hurdles to overcome.
Definitely a lot to think about.
It is. But before we jump to the next contender, Ethereum, anything else about Bitcoin stood out to you from Uncle G's video?
What I found interesting was when he mentioned El Salvador making Bitcoin legal tender.
Oh, right.
Now, whether that experiment ultimately succeeds, that's a whole other deep dive. But it highlights how some countries are already looking at Bitcoin as a potential national currency.
All right, so we've tackled Bitcoin, the OG crypto, but now Ethereum. Uncle G seemed really pumped about this one, especially all that smart contract stuff. Honestly, kind of went over my head.
It seems complicated, but it's actually pretty straightforward. Imagine making a bet with a friend on a game.
Okay.
Instead of just shaking hands hoping they pay up if they lose,
you
use a smart contract. Everything is automatic.
I'm listening. How would that even work?
So you set up the rules beforehand. Who wins, under what conditions, how much money's on the line.
Right.
That agreement, it gets coded into the blockchain.
Yeah.
Game ends. Smart contract automatically pays out the winner.
No more chasing down your buddy to cough up the cash.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's bigger than just bets. This is what Uncle G was getting at when he called Ethereum the digital oil.
Yeah, I remember that. Not the most glamorous image, but I think I get it.
The point is, just like oil fuels our cars, powers industries, Ethereum's tech, it can power a whole new wave of these things called dApps, decentralized applications.
He mentioned dApps. Yeah, I'll be honest, that part I kind of zoned out on.
Yeah.
What's a real-world example? Like, how would we actually use a dApp?
Think about ride-sharing.
Okay.
Usually there's a company in the middle, right, taking a cut of every ride.
Yeah, makes sense.
But with a dApp built on Ethereum, passengers and drivers, they connect directly through a smart contract.
So it cuts out the middleman.
Exactly. Potentially makes the whole system fairer, more transparent.
Interesting, like taking power back from the big guys, giving it to the people actually using the service.
That's a big part of what decentralized technology is all about. And it's not just finance or transportation. We could be talking about secure voting systems, supply chain management, even verifying your identity online.
Wow. It's like this whole other world out there, and Ethereum's leading the charge.
It's certainly at the forefront.
But didn't Uncle G also mention something about Ethereum 2.0? Is that just a fancy way of saying, like, he got a software update?
It's more significant than just an update. Remember we were talking about Bitcoin's energy consumption?
The mining and all that, yeah.
Right. So Ethereum is actually moving to a whole different system called proof of stake.
Proof of stake. Okay, now you're just using big words to make me feel dumb. What's that?
So in a proof of stake system, users stake their own Ethereum as collateral instead of using tons of computing power to validate transactions, like a security deposit almost.
Okay.
And that stake